For all the veterans listening and for Peter, thank you for your service.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
This is the Outside Gate with Steve Hall on the L4 Media Network, where we talk US moto and anywhere the conversation goes. And today the conversation is joined by Peter Linquist from the from Veteran MX. Did I get your name right, Peter, for a start? Linquist.
Yeah, it's Linquist, not to be confused with a linguist, which happened in my time of service.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Very good, man. Yeah, so you guys, the listeners would remember I did a the military appreciation show a little while ago with Cody and Felipe, which was a very enjoyable show, and I hope some people got a little bit of enjoyment and maybe some advice out of that. And Peter was going to join us for that show, but we had some technical difficulties, and so we've had to reconvene, and here we are right now. Yeah, so um, I'm going to let Peter just take the floor for a while, I think, and tell us all about a Veteran MX and what he's been up to. They've got some a few things going on at the moment right now. So yeah, the floor is yours, man.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so Veteran MX, we're a nonprofit organization. We're nationwide, and actually, we have members throughout different countries. We have guys in Okinawa, Japan, and all over the place. Um, but we're all about our three main things is community, accessibility, and uh, it's the camaraderie. It's not about just riding the dirt bikes and getting that throttle therapy, because that actually does release different endorphins in your body, and for a lot of guys those chemicals haven't been released since combat, and so it's good to get things flowing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, Veteran MX, we're a nonprofit organization. We host ride days and clinics. We do a lot of different clinics. We just did one with Jeff Emig out in Paris Raceway in Paris, California. Uh, we do a ride day with Chad Reed and his family, usually on Veterans Day. And that's kind of like a camp out kind of thing. And but the big thing we do, and I've been working on, is we host a week-long event that's free for veterans, all our members, and it's at Mays, Kansas. We kind of picked the middle of the country just to make it easy for guys like me from coming to California. We have people from Maine that come down, and Florida. So, for the American listeners, it's kind of like all the corners of the country, Washington, and it's an amazing event. You know, it's I've made some of my best friends that I'll have for life from that event. It's crazy. So, but yeah, it's a week long. We start racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the gates open to the vets on Monday to just come and ride the track and hang out with each other and share that camaraderie, and you know be able to talk about guys and girls that understand, have been there, and can definitely relate, because I think as veterans, that's where we struggle the most. Is it's hard to relate with other people with our experiences, even though a lot of those emotions are the same. um, the experiences are way different.
Yeah. So what track is that at in Kansas?
It's Bar to Bar MX, and they open their doors to us. They really make us feel like home. We have food donated from locals, companies, and other people around there for the whole week. Breakfast is provided Monday through Sunday for all our veterans and stuff and their families. Um, Free entry fees, three different race entry fees. So with the championship, it is an AMA sanctioned event, but we have 18 different classes just for veterans. And there's no better experience than lining up on a gate with 50. We have the branch of the battle class, and that's every branch against each other, and we have a
Yeah.
cup that goes around and that they keep for the year and stuff. And it's that's probably the craziest race out of all of them. But this year we're also teaming up with Moto Demption. I don't know if you know who they
Yes.
are, but
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
yeah, so I've been talking with Davey, and we're gonna get their bikes out there, their adaptive bikes, so we can get some veterans that either have no use of their legs or very limited use of their legs out on their adaptive bikes and do a clinic for those guys. And we'll have a clinic for all our members on Thursday, and then the bar banging starts on Friday. So yeah, it's a great event. It's the one event that I truly look forward to every year. It's because it's like a retreat, and it's like a week, like years worth of therapy crammed into a week, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing better than nothing better, man. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, just a bit about me for yourself and for listeners. So I'm not a veteran. There's a small amount of military service in my family. A couple of generations back. So my grandfather was in the Air Force in World War II. Came home safe. My great uncle, but my great uncle didn't come home safe. He died in World War II, and nothing since then. My dad was the exact right age for Vietnam, and was just didn't get his number, didn't come up. So his mates did, his didn't. So which is maybe I wouldn't be here, but yeah, and a couple of mates that have served, one who still is. So yeah, not I'm not a veteran, but I am I guess an advocate for mental health, and I've experienced some pretty hectic stuff in the mental health area as far as depression and anxiety and that sort of thing goes, and I've actually educated myself a lot on it, and I'm extremely sympathetic to those causes, so something that I know that veterans really suffer from. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, man. And absolutely, getting a bunch of blokes together to have fun and talk to each other is about as good a therapy as you can ever get. That's it, common interests, and then also the rush of moto, and just like you can't go to a moto event and not be happy for a start, and then to have like-minded people and all that sort of thing. That the whole scene, the whole thing you just described, just warms my heart, man. It really does. So yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing event, and like there's no other event like it. It's been growing. It's doubled in size every year. This is going to be our fourth year for the event. We're expecting at least over 200 veterans and their families there. We have campers lined up that we're renting from a local Air Force base to house guys and girls, and just there's nothing like it. There really isn't anything like it. So I've been on different organizations and trips with different groups and stuff, but to have all these people in one spot, and yeah, you're not gonna connect with everybody, but you'll find those special ones that, like I said, you'll be best friends with them till the day you die. So
Yeah.
and you feel like you've known them when you meet them. You feel like you've known them all your life, which is so cool. Just to
Yeah.
be able to share that military banter and that moto lingo at the same time, that's a pretty neat experience.
Yeah, that's cool actually. Yeah, because I know, military friends, and they'll get saying things and I don't know what they're talking about, But I think but at the same time, even though I don't know what they're talking about, I think it's really cool that they have that. And then the conversation will switch, and we'll go to moto, and then I do know what they're talking about. So yeah, I really do understand what you're saying there, because yeah. both things have their words and their lingo. Yeah,
Yeah.
that really attached to them. Yeah,
And not only am I part of Veteran MX Foundation or the Veteran Motocross Foundation, but I'm also a Operation Veteran Now ambassador athlete, which is another nonprofit organization all about bringing your sport to spread, being like an advocate for the community, trying to get guys out, whether it's motocross or not. We have uh, they OVN has all kinds of different athletes in different sports. We have Olympians, boxing and everything in between. So, um, yeah, it's neat to bring all these groups together and work together and just change lives, man. Put smiles on guys' faces that deserve it and haven't been able to feel like they're home until they're with us.
yeah. I know. When I spoke, when I did the show with the boys there, one of the key things that they spoke about was finding purpose after their military life.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So, a little backstory about me. I joined the Marine Corps on September 11th, 2002, a year after the attacks. The 9/11 attacks kind of made me never thought about joining the military, but it kind of changed my whole perspective on things. And I was injured in Iraq in my second tour in 2005, which got me, discharged out of there and trying to figure out my life. And I'm 100% disabled through the VA, and um, I wasn't able to work, but I just felt like I was just being kind of like a drag on the community instead of being a part of the community.
Yeah,
Um, so I actually tried to start a nonprofit back in, I think it was 2007, 2008, called We Can Do This Together. And it was kind of going to be like a resource group for different nonprofits. And like, I actually just was talking to a guy today that called me out of the blue about the championship. Never met him, just a friend of mine. And he's part of a nonprofit I've never heard of for veterans. They
yeah,
they do like ayahuasca trips to Mexico and stuff. So there's so many different groups and organizations that um, bringing them together is huge, and just having that support group to let guys know, hey, I've been through that too, and try this, go down this route, or it's amazing to how many guys and girls you can help just having that knowledge.
yeah, yeah. I know. Felipe was talking about he did an ayahuasca trip himself. Yeah, and he found it helpful, and he spoke a little bit about some of his plant medicine and different things that he's been involved with on the show there. Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting thing. I think some of that sort of stuff. It used to be looked upon as just really sort of weird, almost taboo, and it's sort of becoming like, well, if Mother Nature's growing something, like maybe it's not that bad,
Yeah, right.
Um,
You have
yeah,
all these doctors pushing all these chemicals made in
yes,
labs, and who knows what's in them, and so yeah, I'm all about the holistic medicine and
mm,
going that route. But like you said, getting back to like being a drain on the society, I can't work. I can't hold down a job. I've tried, but due to my TBI and my PTSD and other, sorry, my dog's barking.
no, that's all right, man. I
Um,
love dogs, man. So yeah, dogs are welcome.
Come on, you want to be on the show? But joining the group, it was actually. Oh, he does want to join the show. Hey, you say hi.
Hello.
But
What's his
he,
name?
this is Vern.
Vern. Nice.
Vern. Like, I don't know if you ever seen the old movies with Ernest Goes to Camp. But you know what I mean, Vern.
No, no, I don't know that, but yeah.
You'll have to watch that after
Okay.
this.
No worries. All right, I will do.
But um, I moved from North Carolina to California, and in North Carolina, I was riding with actually another Marine that was retired and stuff. So I had that bond, and then when I moved to California, I was still riding, even in more beautiful tracks and areas, but I was missing that. So I think it was in 2019, I found VetMX and went down to Southern Cal. I actually drove like 9 hours down to Southern California to go to a clinic on Veterans Day with Donnie Hansen was hosting it. And, you know, that feeling of finding my home, that's where I found it. And then after that, I just was bugging these guys. I'm like, man, let me help you out with stuff. Like I know some people. Let's grow this thing. And I think there was maybe like 400 members at that time. And now we're in all the Supercross races. We have a booth set up. Outdoor motocross, we got a booth set up. And so it's grown tremendously. I think now we have over uh, 13 or 1400 members nationwide. And seeing all these groups, like I'm part of all these messenger groups of Ohio and California, and this and that, being one of the member liaisons for VetMX. But it's amazing to see the relationships and bonds growing between these guys.
Yeah, it is. One of the beauties, there's good and bad in technology, but one of the great things is the connection. I have friends in different countries around the world, and really close friends that that I never would have known if it wasn't for technology. So I wouldn't be talking to you right now. Hey, if it was
Right.
technology, we'd have a scratchy phone call that I'd be trying to record and paying a fortune for or something. So
Yeah, I
technology is pretty
remember.
cool.
I remember before cell phones, I was I
Yeah,
was calling overseas, from Okinawa or whatever back home. Man, it wasn't
yeah,
cheap.
yeah. That's right. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? There's a lot of good in it, and especially I think for people that are that want to find connection, that technology, and it's available. It's right there, isn't it? If they're keen to use it, yeah. It's
Yeah, I always tell people I was actually faceless. I didn't have a Facebook account or any of that stuff. And then when I joined VetMX, I was like, man, they have their own members page that has got a lot of information, a lot of uh, you know, guys harassing guys, and just it's a lot of banter and stuff.
mm,
So I was like, I guess I gotta get a Facebook page and Instagram, now YouTube, and all that good stuff.
yeah. It's funny. My kids laugh because they're teenagers, and they can remember dad with still clinging to his flip phone because I couldn't get the hang of a touchscreen. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
right.
fuck these touchscreens, they're shit. Like they're not made for black man's fingers, and I couldn't figure them out, and all this, and I was clinging to me flip phone, and I had no socials, and I thought it was all garbage, and then nowadays I've got a damn
Yeah,
podcast and I'm doing all this stuff and I 2 Instagram accounts and the whole show. Like I've bought right in, but I'm glad I did. So there's good and bad in technology, but I think the whole social media and all that. I think it just mirrors society. Like if you use it for good, there's good in it. If you use it for
exactly,
bad, there's bad in it. And
exactly.
it just mirrors society. If you go looking for bad, you'll find it. If you go looking for good people, you'll find them as well.
I
So
got a 9-year-old little dude in there that's I let him play on the phone and stuff, and like YouTube and stuff, and you really do have to watch what they're watching
yes,
because there's some
yeah,
crazy stuff out there.
yeah. You do have to. You gotta watch it and and just be careful. But yeah, you can't. It's unavoidable nowadays, isn't it? I think
Yeah, right.
with kids, it's just you can't keep kids away from everything nowadays. So you just got to educate them so they make the right choices themselves. That's sort of how I go by it with my kids. So
Yeah,
and my kids are teenagers now. Oh, one of them's in his 20s, which is freaks
I
me out.
got a
But yeah,
got a
and
24-year-old too, so
yeah,
I know how
got
that goes. But she's actually in her second year of law school, so who everybody needs a lawyer in their family nowadays.
yeah. That's it. That's it. Doing well. Yeah.
Uh,
Very good, man. Yeah. Um, we might. I'd love to just talk a little bit about your life, man. So, my favorite question on the show that I always ask people is when did the moto bug bite you? When did you first jump on a Pee-wee or C1, or what was that first moment?
yeah, I was young, so my cousin growing up was a lot older than me, and he had his pro card. So I remember going to a race and watching him, and I was like, "Oh man, this is just I, I'm doing this." Um, so I think I was in like fourth grade. I think it was fourth grade. I told my parents this is what I want to do. And they're like, "Well, save up some money, and you can do it." And so I got a paper route because back then, people got papers at their
Yeah,
door,
yeah,
and started doing that and was hustling that and saved up enough money where I actually got it was I think it was a Yamaha RT 100,
yeah.
and I tripled my paper route and delivered the papers on that thing, and you can't probably do that nowadays, but
That's right.
yeah, just kept saving money. I was working for my cousin over at his shop, and he had a box. Back then it was the big, like U-Haul box vans and stuff, and we had all the parts in it. We go out to the races, and while he raced, I'd manage the truck and stuff, and help me with the entry fees and get me out there racing. So I loved it growing up. And did it through all out high school and just just the thrill of it. I'm I guess I'm considered an adrenaline junkie. I'll try anything if it looks somewhat doable.
Yeah,
uh, and just the twist in the throttle, man, and it just I love it. And when I joined the military, I didn't get to do it as much, but always still had a bike at home ready to rip whenever I was able to come back to the stateside and do it. And when I was injured, I thought those days were over just due to all my injuries. And um, it was funny because my wife, she actually went to the doctor. I was a big scuba diver also, and I dove the Great Barrier Reef out there in Australia, and it was
okay, yeah.
beautiful. But she went to the doctor and wanted to see for a Christmas gift about getting me like uh, recertified and through Patty to do some scuba diving. And the doctors are like, no way, just the pressure and because of his brain injury, those things you can't mix those. It's just too dangerous. And so after that, I was just still depressed on the couch, like not doing anything. And so I went back. We were playing we were in we lived on an island out in North Carolina, and we were playing a kickball. We were in like a late night kickball league. I don't know if you know what kickball is,
Yeah,
but
I've
uh,
heard of it. I don't know exactly what it is. No.
it's like baseball, but you use like a rubber ball and you kick it.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah.
you can throw the ball at people and like to that's the way you get them out and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And it's just more like a drinking, socializing kind
yeah.
of thing. So we were doing that, and some guys out there were like, "Hey, you want to go dirt bike riding?" And I'm like, "What? You guys? We live on an island. Where you guys go dirt bike riding?" They're like, "Oh, it's not that far off the island. Like, come on out." So I went to the doctor and asked him, I'm like, "Hey, I know scuba diving's out, but what about dirt bikes?" And he's like, "If you can withstand the pain and do dirt bikes, then it's all you, buddy. So I actually went out and pretty much bought a dirt bike the next day. I'm like, it's on, and never looked back ever since, you know. And then, like I said, when I moved to California and found Veteran MX, then I truly knew I was home.
Yeah. Fantastic. So moving to California, was that partly to be more involved with Veteran MX, or was that just a coincidence?
It was just a coincidence. So you know, California, it's expensive. It gets put down a lot, but the weather here is beautiful. The motocross scene here is amazing. There's tracks everywhere. Um, so in North Carolina, I grew up in Ohio, so that's more Midwest country. It snowed a lot and stuff like that, and couldn't do the cold weather anymore. That's why I was in North Carolina. But after a while there, it was just hot and humid all the time. Never could have windows open. So my daughter knew she wanted to go to school out here and to go to college. So we
Mm.
looked into it. In California, some of their state benefits are if you're disabled at a certain rating, they'll waive her tuition to any state school. So she actually graduated from UCLA with her undergrad and now is in her second, or will be starting her third year of law school at UCLA. So, and I have a 9-year-old that goes to private school and have paid more money for him to go to third grade than her whole time in UCLA.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. I was just talking to my daughter the other day. So she's a dropout, which is runs in the family, and I'm okay with it too because we're a weird bunch, and school's just not for us. And I realised after a while that she is like her dad and like her granddad and that sort of thing. And we none of us finished high school in our family. We've all just started working and we've done okay, you know. So, but I was saying to her that I was asking her, like we were talking about college, and I was saying like how much it cost now. And I said, you wouldn't remember, but I was asking her for hints. Do you think you ever might want to go to college when, went from when she was about like 8 or 9? Because that's when I had to start preparing the money for it, So,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to need a long time to save up the money if you want to do this. So, yeah, but
Yeah.
in
So
the end,
American
yeah.
veterans, we have the GI Bill. And so she actually collected, I think it's called Chapter 35, which is part of that GI Bill. And then COVID happened, so she moved home, was doing remote classes and collecting like, you know, $1,500 or $1,600 a month for going to school, and the tuition was paid for. So
Yeah,
you can't beat that. Now
yeah.
my son, I don't think is going to college. He's already told me that he's going straight to the NHL after high school. So he's a
Right.
he's a he's a big hockey player. So he loves the ice hockey, and he rips it on the motos too. But I think the ice is more his thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if he does, man, that he'll make more money doing that if he does well in that. So,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Probably better chances of becoming a pro hockey player than a pro motocrosser. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, hockey's one thing we don't know heaps about down here, it's not really a sport down here, and apart from sometimes we'll get exhibition games and that sort of thing,
Uh-huh.
in the off season a couple of your teams might come down here and put on a show or something like that. But yeah, it's just
Which is crazy because you Aussies like to fight, don't you? So you would think that hockey would be
yeah,
one of your sports.
I think it's just because yeah, we don't have the weather for it in most of the country,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, right.
we
Well, I
we
live in sunny California. We have just the ice rinks and indoor
yeah.
ice rinks around here. So
So we'd have to have that across the whole country,
yeah,
so
right.
because there's no, I don't think I doubt there's anywhere in Australia. I mean, I'm sure there's nowhere in Australia where like lakes freeze or anything like that. There's none of that, going on. So
Yeah.
there might be tiny little ones somewhere, in the high country that might freeze up. But yeah, we get snow areas, so snow sports is a thing. They're small areas, but yeah, in the high country, you get snow resorts, and we've had some pretty good Winter Olympics athletes from snow jumping and ski jumping and stuff like that. But yeah, hockey's not one. Field hockey's a pretty big sport here, though. I guess that's the sort of version
Yeah.
of it. Field hockey's pretty big here. I think that's something Australians are pretty good at in the Olympics and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
But-
been very fortunate and got to visit Australia. Actually, my during my time in service, I was a provided security for an MPS ship, which is kind of like a civilian. It looks like a civilian ran ship, but it's filled full of military cargo.
yeah.
And we're doing a training exercise out there, so I got to come out there and got really lucky because my chief warrant officer was like, hey, you want to go take a week of leave not charged in Great Keppel Island?
Oh,
And
geez, you scored
so
there. Yeah.
yeah, so we went out there for a couple of days and spent some time on the Gold Coast and Brisbane and Rockhampton, I think it was. um, and yeah, it was, I loved it out there, all the pubs. And I'm trying to think of your guys's beer. Was it like 3X or
Oh,
4X?
4X. Yeah, 4X would have
4X.
been the beer up there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
4X and stuff. And yeah, I loved it out there, man. I'd come back there in any chance I got.
Yeah, that's well, you got to the best part of the country, like so I'm down south, so yeah, it's bloody cold at the moment and all that, but yeah, up up there, yeah, I think so. Queensland's kind of like oh, it depends, like southeast Queensland where you were, so that the weather there's probably like Californian weather.
Yeah.
Um, but then you sort of head North Queensland's more like Florida weather. It starts to get real humid as you go. Because Queensland's a massive state. It
Yeah.
really really big state. So this sort of it's a bit like how they talk about Northern California and Southern California. Queensland's sort of got North Queensland and Southeast Queensland. So yeah, cool, man. Really good. Yeah. Yeah, how do people get in contact? So if someone's listening and they want to get in contact, how do they
Yeah.
get in contact? What's the easiest way?
So they can go to our website is www.veteranmx.com. We also Instagram is the veteran underscore MX. I believe is our Instagram. And my email is always available to anybody that has questions or anything about the organization. Sorry, my dog's going crazy.
That's all right. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
give me
it's
one. I'm
cool.
gonna put him in 1 second.
Okay, yeah. Vern's going crazy. Good on him.
That's what happens when you rescue a bunch of puppies.
Yeah,
But
that's all right. Yeah.
yeah, so my email is peter.linquist, that's linquist at veteranmx.com. If anybody has any questions, they're more than welcome to email me and I'll reach back out to them. And then yeah, so I mainly the veteranmx.com is our the big resource where you can find a lot of that information, and that has my email and ways to contact us on there.
Fantastic, fantastic. And also too, I think it'd be good to encourage, even if you're a veteran, but you haven't been riding, to get out to this event you've got coming up and have a look, man. Go and
Yeah,
spectate.
this is an event like no other. I can tell you that. You'll never see racing like this anywhere else. We got guys with prosthetics out there whipping it, doing big whips over the tabletops and jumps and stuff. And um, yeah, I encourage anybody and everybody to come out, experience it, because even all the civilians that are there and stuff, that throughout the past years, even I've heard it from their mouths that they've never experienced anything like this. Just such a good vibe out there, and so much fun.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. I love it. Um, we've got a contest going, Peter. So Guts Racing are a sponsor of the show, and Andy from Guts is on board to. We want to give away a seat cover to a veteran, basically. So
Awesome.
so yeah, the contest is a pretty simple one. If you are a veteran who rides, or if you're a veteran whose kids ride, um, all you need to do to score yourself a gut seat cover is just DM me or email me. So my email is AussieSteve569@gmail.com. AussieSteve569@gmail.com. Or just DM me on socials. So the Outside Gate on Instagram, or AussieSteve_dirtbikes on Instagram. And I love a story. So I just want a little bit of a story. You don't have to be a professional rider. It doesn't have to be long. And in the story, just a brief on your military life, and then a bit more on your moto life. Why you love riding, why you love riding them, watching them kids ride their bikes, and the benefits to you, and all that just all that positive, good stuff. I just want to hear about what you're up to, and how much you just love that bike, and that whole scene that Peter's talking about. So into that, and then my boys, my guys, Cody and Felipe, the veterans who helped on the other show, are going to just choose a winner from the list. Whoever sort of tugs at their heartstrings and that sort of thing, and we'll get you'll get to choose, your make, model, colors, all that sort of stuff, and get yourself a gut seat cover for your bike. So yeah, please get on board that. And I'll just sort of leave that open until I get whatever I reckon is sort of a fair amount of entries, and then I'll say it's closed and that sort of thing. But yeah, I would say probably there'd be hopefully plenty of vets listening to this episode at least, and so absolutely get on board that. And I might as well roll straight into our Guts Racing read, I think, off the back of that. Gutsracing.com is the website. That's a real easy one to remember, gutsracing.com. Winning races all over the world. So this year in Supercross, we had RJ Hampshire winning a title on a gut seat. Kenny was winning races. And across in Europe there, we've got Kaider Wolf and Lucas Coonan winning races. All these guys on gut seats. Jed Beaton winning races in Australia on gut seats. Gut seats used by Club MX. Filthy Phil is out there doing his farewell tour on a gut seat. PRMX, Moto Concepts Racing, AEO KTM, Next Level KTM, Phoenix Honda, and countless privateers, including Scott Meshy, privateer hero Scott Meshy. And as he says, a gut seat is a butt gripper, and it will make you a ripper. So get around those. Huge range of colors. If you're a tall, lanky fella, you can get a tall seat. You can get a wide wing seat if you would like more grip around the knees. You can get ultralight seat foams, replacement seat foams. The seat bump is coming back. You can get a seat bump. You can get a cover to suit that. You can get complete seats now also. If you have a Yamaha, your seat cover even comes with that tank cap cover to match the seat cover. So they are a world leader in seat covers. Gutsracing.com. Get around that. Cool, Peter. That's
Nice.
the way. How are you physically then, man? Like how are you now? Like is your physical, obviously you spoke about your PTSD and
Yeah,
that sort of thing. How are you physically though?
I got metal in me, kind of keeping me together, and I've still been getting surgeries here and there when things aren't working as right as they used to be. But I have all my limbs. I got both my legs and arms, and so grateful for that. And that's the thing, though. It's like I'm in pain every day. But when I get out on my bike and twist that throttle and get some throttle therapy in, when I get off it, yeah, I'm in way more pain, but at least it's a pain of accomplishment. Like I
Yes.
actually did something and I earned that pain. You know what I mean? Than just waking up and feeling the pain.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, there's good paint and bad paint, man, isn't there? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
you know, I it's tough sometimes, but you know, when you're on the bike, you don't think about it. The pain actually really does just go away. So and to a degree, you know. But yeah, it's I love it, man. I just there's nothing better than just twisting that throttle.
yeah, man. You've definitely found your purpose, hey?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know it's I struggled. I've dealt with suicide. I've been down that darkness and had a hard time. And but I knew there was light at the end of the tunnel. And after spending some time in the hospital doing some PTSD programs, like 3-month inpatient programs with the VA and stuff, I knew it was something I was going to deal with all my life. But you know, every day this side of the ground is a good day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you may have bad days, but there's no such thing as a bad life. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, it just kind of pushed me, and especially when I found motocross and it came back into my life, and it changed me forever. And then finding these guys, Veteran MX and OVN, and which is Operation Vet Now is their Instagram if you guys want to check them out. Um, but yeah, it's just being able to talk to these guys and help them through some problems and being there for each other. That's the biggest thing. Like knowing I have that support group on my hard days to kind of give them a call and cheer me up, and um, just kind of harass each other and
mm.
make each other laugh, because it's all about the laughter, man.
It is, man. It is fantastic. I like to ask a few just sort of random questions towards the end of the show, man. Just a few random questions, get a bit more of your personality out and different. Just learn a little bit more about you, man. What sort of music are you into?
I like it all, man. I can dig some country. I can dig some like Band of Horses and Kings of Leon, and then I can rock out with some Metallica and 9 Inch Nails. It's like just depends on the mood and the feeling. But I just like to have a good time. And yeah, I love music. Period. So it's nice to be able to have something to listen to.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, yeah. So you got that sort of mixed up Spotify list, a bit like me. Yeah, like a lot of people, really that I talk to, they're pretty varied taste in music, and that Spotify list gets a bit crazy. Like mine, sometimes it makes me laugh when I've got mine
Right.
on a random mix, because it'll come off something real heavy, heavy shit, and it'll slow down, and then on pops Johnny Cash, and I was like, it makes me laugh sometimes, the contrasted things, and yeah, and
Especially
then
when your kids are using it too. You're like, whoa. But my little guy actually keeps me up to date on a lot of the newer stuff, and he actually even throws back some old stuff. I'm like, hey, how'd you even know about him? So
yeah.
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, well, my kids love my music, which I'm something I'm pretty proud of. They love my music, especially my daughter. She is like, she's 16. She collects vinyl records, and she's
Oh,
got,
that's cool.
and she's like, she's a real, she's very retro, and that's, and I think, listening, because I pretty much continuously have music playing. It's like my life's got a soundtrack, it's always
Yeah.
got something going, like I'm never in silence, unless I'm sleeping, I guess. And Yeah, they they like their new stuff as well. But yeah, they like a lot of my old school stuff. So yeah, fun question I've been asking people when we talk music is if you could time travel to see a concert or a band in the past, like where are you going? You can go to any big concert, festival, or even just a small bar or whatever, anything
Man,
to see
that's
a
tough.
show.
It's like so many good
Yeah,
old
it is
stuff,
tough, isn't it?
like 311, some Sublime or something like that, or would I go with like going to see like Led Zeppelin or man, if I was time traveling, I'd just hit them all up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what mine would be. Like there was so many, but yeah,
Even
I
like
ended up.
Woodstock, just to go like back to
Yeah,
Woodstock and see all that craziness too. It'd be like, all of that would be so cool.
yeah. It makes me laugh, man. I never get too much into politics on this show, but it made me laugh when I think about the hippies back at Woodstock. What would they think of modern hippies? Like having hippies changed a lot. Like
Right?
like
Oh, I
who's
live in Santa Cruz, California, my
yeah,
man. I am surrounded by hippies.
yeah. And who's all about the hippies in the '60s all about freedom, man? Who's all about freedom now?
Yeah, right.
Things spin around and change, and yeah, it's all
Yeah, it's
it's all it's a weird thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, Woodstock, man, that's well, I love stories about that. Like different things. Who was the band that played it? They played the real late slot, and there was like one dude still awake. I think it was that John Fogerty that tells that story where he was like playing.
it could be.
Yeah,
With my
yeah.
brain
He
injury, my
came
memory
on.
is not that good. I'm one of
Yeah,
those guys. If you ask me what I had for breakfast, I couldn't even tell you if I ate breakfast or not.
yeah. I think it might have been Fogerty. If it's not, so if someone's listening, tell me. And the bands before him went on so long that they got on so late that everyone was just wasted. And they're up there playing, and he thought no one was listening. Then this one guy in the crowd's like, "Hell yeah!" It's just this one voice. Yeah, there's a lot of funny stories about that. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. Dude, what else? What's on your bucket list, man?
So my bucket list, I definitely want to go race Daytona. We have a Warriors class. Oh, that's one more thing about Veteran MX. So
Yeah.
we've started a Warriors class with a lot of AMA races and even like grassroots racing series. And the Warriors class is kind of like our battles of the branches, where it doesn't matter what um, what you ride or what your riding skill is. You're just going out to have fun and finish where you finish. Because they actually, what we do with the branch battle is just take random numbers and we take those scores off of, to figure out who's taking the cup home.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
the Warriors class in Daytona, I would love to go race that. I missed it this year, but Mammoth is happening right now.
Mm.
I've got some buddies there, so I'd love to go race that race before I get too old and crinkle up. Um, but yeah, dude. Actually, I think one of my biggest bucket list. I don't know if I'm kind of close to making it happen, but I've been working with Richard Browning, um, the the founder of Gravity.co, and that's the jet suit.
Oh, okay.
It's one turbine on your back and two turbines on each hand. I would
Yeah.
love to race one of those. They've been racing them over in Dubai,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if I could get out there and race one of those. So Richard, if you're listening, next time we meet up, let's make it happen.
Yeah, man. That sounds awesome. Full Iron Man, man. Full
Yeah,
Iron
it
Man.
really
Science
is.
fiction in
If you
play.
ever check,
Yeah.
for those who want to check it out, I got some videos on my Instagram, and I can put some up on my YouTube, which is veteran underscore MXer 910.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, that's that's some crazy stuff. I don't have the knackers for doing that, man. Not me. No, that's it. Dirt
Well,
bike, yeah,
you
man.
just can't go up that high, you know.
Yeah. Maybe do it. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not too bad with heights, but I don't know, man. Something about that it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure if I could do that or not. Yeah. But it'd be cool to see, though. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. You never like. Do you ever think, man, about things we can do now and that sort of thing, and even 20 years ago, how it would seem like it's just
Well,
amazing.
it's funny because like even in the military, when I was in, and I was in 2002, was injured in 2005. So just that short period of time when I was in, and some of the technology that I saw then,
Yeah,
uh, that we had, I can't even imagine what they have now. You know what I mean? Like it was, they were so advanced then, and here I am with like calling on a calling card and stuff, and some of us had flip phones or whatever maybe at that time.
yeah,
And but yeah, the technology now is insane.
it is, man. Yeah, it is. It's crazy, man. And dude, what's your best advice for veterans? Do you have like a go to best bit of advice that you like to say, or more
Yeah.
than one? Yeah.
um I think the biggest thing is you're not alone. Like you're not the only one feeling that. You're not the only one thinking that. Like there's lots of groups out there, and finding one sometimes can be hard, but don't ever give up searching, because like I said before, any day on this side of the ground's a good day, and you might have a bad day, but there's no such thing as a bad life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Fantastic. Fantastic. Dude, there's two things I do towards the end of the show, man, just to close out the show. The first one is give me your best Aussie accent. Now, do you remember you have
Oh,
a few
shit in your
Aussie mate?
pocket, mate. Like, seriously.
Do that again. That wasn't too bad.
Ah, shit in your pocket, mate. Oh, seriously.
Yeah, you're not bad, man. Yeah, you're not bad. Yeah. That was
Hit the
okay.
damn kangaroo driving over here to the pub.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, you're not too bad. You spent a bit of time down here, so you're across it a bit. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Good job. Yeah, that's the way, man. Cool. Very good, man. And then the last thing I do, man, the outro music for my show, man, is just me singing a bit of Kenny Rogers, man. And I always
Nice.
say to the guests, man, and some join in, some don't, and there's no right or wrong. There's no commitment. But if you know the words to the gambler and you want to join in at some stage, then join on in, man, and help me out with this outro. I'll just clear my throat and slide into a bit of that. So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light, and the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know
Know
when to hold
when
'em,
to hold 'em.
know
Know
when to
when
fall,
to fold 'em.
know when to
When
walk
to walk
away,
away.
know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Peter, thank you, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show and learn all about Veteran MX. Definitely want to have you back on again at some stage to talk about what's happening. And honestly, man, I would love at some stage to come and check out one of your events. I think it'd be fantastic, man. So
Well, every September 6th what is it, September 16th through the 22nd of this year. Is the event in Kansas, and I am telling you, it's an event. Even if you're not a veteran, like I said, just come out, have a good time. You'll never experience anything like it anywhere else.
Cool, man. Yeah, absolutely get around it. And so we've shared a lot of contact information and advice and all Peter's contacts and that sort of thing. Listeners, you also got my contacts as well. Anybody that wants to know anything about what we've spoken about today, both our doors are wide open for you. So
Absolutely, my phone is on for vets 24/7. So yeah, it's what we do. We got to be there for each other because nobody else is going to be there for us.
that's it, man. Thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.